Yo, welcome back to another Real Talk reaction. This one's for Scrubs, Season 5, Episode 21. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, the algorithm. Thanks you.
Alright, a couple of comments for the last episode, starting with executive producer Jeremy, who says, yeah, at the beginning of the episode when you were talking about switching things around for more lightheartedness, I was thinking, oh, okay, well that's interesting timing for this episode. I know, that shit's so wild. This is one of my favorite episodes of the entire series, especially for the performance from John C. McGinley and the song choice. I always look for reactions to this episode, so it's great to be able to see a full reaction, since all the other reactions I've seen were edited versions on YouTube, so they all have to edit the part with Cox's breakdown because of the song, which I'm always disappointed by. I feel like the Todd stuff was just a distraction. They distracted you with the Todd stuff and the chiropractic jokes, and then it hit you at the end with the sadness.
Yeah.
Ricardo says, when you said you switched up your viewing schedule for this episode and then said which episode this was, my immediate reaction was a laugh because this is probably the worst possible time to do it. Facts. This episode always gets to me, in part the feeling of guilt for not doing more to help someone is something I know quite well, and also that ending is just brutal. In classic Scrubs fashion, there was subtle foreshadowing at the beginning. When When Turk mentions that 4 people died during Cox's speech, it foreshadows the 4 people who would die by the end of the episode. Tracy and the 3 transplant patients. They do stuff like this constantly, and it's always interesting when rewatching the show. As I'm sure someone has mentioned by now, this was based on a real story, but some people criticize it for seeming unrealistic because of the chances of something like that happening, which is funny, since this is one of the cases practically lifted straight from the headlines.
Right.
Wow. Great comment. Jason says, top 3 episode of all time. Thank you guys as always. The fallout from this is going to be a ride. Mio says, the song plus John C. McGinley is so good and so painful. I had shivers during the episode because I knew what was about to come. And then we have Jill, who says, this is one of the big ones we've been waiting for you, and your guys' reaction was so worth it. Thank you so much for all that you do. At the start, when you said you were doing Scrubs first for the lightheartedness, I did totally think that was ironic, considering this episode. Well, good job for not giving it away.
Yeah.
But it is one of the greats. I really can't say enough good things about Dr. Cox's actor, and the job he does this episode is so amazing. Before anyone else mentions it, I do want to share some quick trivia from this episode. The plot is unfortunately based on a true story. In 2004, there really were 3 patients who died due to rabies contracted by organ transplants. They were all at different hospitals, as organs from one donor do not usually all go to the same hospital, but it's horrible to know this really happened. Wow, that is so sad. Yeah. Thanks for the insight. It makes it more dramatic, because it does seem like something that's so coincidental, it's unlikely to happen, but it's based on a true story.
Yeah, the chances of it happening that could is possible.
Alright, Kali says, this is without a doubt one of the highest points of the series. I think this episode and Ben's death from season 3 are the 2 easy fan favorites in terms of emotional gut punches and overall character writing, and of course they are both centered around Cox. I think it was just last season there was an episode around JD worrying about his first death that was truly his fault, and in it, Cox says how he still hasn't had one, which further explains why these deaths hit him as hard as they did. It's the first time in his career that his direct decision has caused death. Executive producer Jojo says, I still remember watching this for the first time and then turning to my roommate weeping openly and saying, damn it, I'd forgotten John McGinty was in Platoon. Such great dramatic chops. On rewatch, I felt I could actually see Broth and Judy Ray's Carla being a little bit in awe and just trying not to draw too much focus. And the heck with Grey's Anatomy, the fray always makes me think of this episode. Millie Way says, gotta say it was super funny to me that you apologized for the tone of the last episode reaction and changed up the order for this one. Yeah, guys. Yeah, that's just how shit works out sometimes. Then Eric says, if hypothetically someone laughed during the intro when you said you were switching the order of reactions to not be affected by the heavy stuff, would that make them a bad person? Asking for a friend. I think that was you and everybody else. So, whoops. Excellent reaction as usual. This is one of the episodes that every Scrubs fan was waiting to see you guys.
You ready? Ow! He's the one that needs to cry, you idiot, not me! Ow!
I mean, that's really...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that crying
really
stuff.
bad.
I was just... Oh, hey, loose thread.
No!
Got it. Night Reds.
I've read. That's for kids.
Okay, he's hugging Colonel Doctor, which means you got about 7 seconds.
A hug takes 7 seconds.
A good one does. Here's the plan. What you're gonna do is tell him a story that isn't inherently sad.
That way, when you get all emotional, he's gonna think you're extra sensitive. At which point, I'll nail you with the menthol, and you'll be crying like a 10-year-old pilgrim widow. Here he comes. And action.
Dr. Stone.
Christopher.
Yeah, you know, I'm just out here thinking about my wife. She's pregnant with our first child.
Now, come on, fishy. Take the bait.
Children are pretty darn special. I've 7 of my own, and each one is just as compassionate as the next one. And that is the quality that me and my 6 ex-wives tried to instill in our
6
children.
ex-wives.
It's overwhelming here.
Exactly. You know, my new wife, Carol, she is 4 months pregnant.
Congratulations.
He's popping these kids out, man.
Uh-huh.
We are not so different, you and I.
He's not a sensei. He's a nut job.
It's hug time, Chris. Come here.
Old habits. So he has a mild concussion, and they're gonna let him rest for a while.
Good. That gives us time to come up with a new plan.
Oh, no. That's it. I'm done. There's no way he and I are gonna have a relationship. Not unless I want to bear his 17th child.
He's your attending. You have to connect with him. You need somebody you can look up to. Someone you can count on, Turk. What you need is someone who'll always have your back.
No, JD. That's what you need. That's what you've always needed. Maybe after 5 years of working here, that's not such a good thing anymore. I gotta go and do my shift with Dr. Cox.
Right then, I knew what I had to do.
Hey. What's up?
You're probably wondering why I didn't show up before, huh? I know you wanted me to, even though you'd never admit it. Normally, I would kill to get into this apartment. You try and keep me out. I say try because at your Super Bowl party, which I was not invited to, I was lucky enough to be able to watch the second half from right over there. I was the bearded Domino's employee you invited in because I said I was a fan of Jerome Bettis, whoever the hell that is. Anyway, I tried to convince myself the reason I didn't come earlier was because of you coming into work drunk. But that's not it. I was scared. I guess after all this time, I still think of you as like this superhero that'll help me out of any situation I'm in. I needed that. But that's my problem, you know, and I'll deal with that. I guess I came over here to tell you how proud of you I am. Not because you did the best you could for those patients, but because after 20 years of being a doctor, when things go badly, you still take it this hard.
Oh, wow, bars.
And I gotta tell you, man, I mean, that's the kind of doctor I want to be. Maybe he just needed time to heal, or maybe he just needed to see how much everybody cared. But I'd like to believe it was because of me that he was finally able to say this.
You don't drink scotch.
That's awful.
I'm glad you finally shared. Don't touch me.
That's the thing about family. If you fall off the deep end, you can always count on them to rally
Take
around
him to
you.
a bar.
When you come back, you might get a quick hug, pat on the shoulder, maybe just a nod. But no words really need to be spoken. Of course, it's always nice when they are.
JD.
JD.
Thank you.
Ah,
JD.
stop it.
Welcome.
Didn't call him a girl name, mate. Bravo. All right. All right, that was episode 21 of Scrubs. And in the old ancient words of humans, exactly. That is exactly the episode you would need after episode 20 that we've seen. Didn't need a lot of shenanigans, goofiness, and hightail cartoon hijinks. You ain't need none of that for this episode. What you needed was what we had right here. Just a little bit of humor at the top of the cake, but then that whole recipe is just at the very end there, the main story and getting over it. I didn't know how long it was gonna take Cox to get over it, but I'm glad the whole team was able to chip in to get him over it in this one episode right here, because he really needed it. I know he appreciated it in his brain, and it really didn't stick to Landon until JD came over there. And then, man, what a reveal at the end. He finally called JD JD. He didn't use a girl name. He didn't try to damn sarcastic his way out. He just straight up appreciate it, thank you. And that was the most powerful moment right there of the whole everything of their relationship. And where do we go from here on that? Tomorrow, when we get back to work, or next week, I don't know what day it is on there, but they'll be back to their old selves, which will be a happy thing. And then we can get back to a whole new through line going through there. But a very good close to an emotional episode there, and of what happened. And that was a good line JD hit. After 20 years, something like this would still make you feel like that. And I was thinking the same thing at that moment when JD was talking to him. I thought he was going to say, "You're my Superman." But superhuman means the same thing. Superhero, same thing. So I'm like, that's exactly what I would have said to somebody like him, because that is the type of damn character and relationship that JD sees in Dr. Cox. And so that worked out perfect with the writing, because, I mean, I think everybody feels the same way and thought the same way too. So excellent follow-up to episode 20. So can't wait to see another one.
I love it so much. So I thought I was already it was going to be enough for me with Kelso, because I thought Kelso came through and really, again, showed his appreciation for Cox as well. I mean, stripping away all the bullshit and actually saying, I need you to check me, like the hospital needs you. I mean, that's a big statement coming from Kelso based on like how their dynamic is, and the fact that he was able to like drop his ego and say that, which is a really great Kelso moment. And beginning the series where we were at the very beginning, that's something I would have never anticipated Kelso doing. So I just really appreciate how much of an evolution his character has, and how Kelso shows up when he really has to too, for the team. And I think also the fact that like he's scared of Carla and wants to make sure Carla's happy for a bullshit reason, but I think there's more there. He would have showed up for Kelso or Cox anyway. But JD, I'm probably gonna cry just talking about it, but that was like bars. I wasn't even expecting, like, that's not what I was expecting him to say. I think the Superman thing, but like when he's the gravity of what he said, as far as like, for one saying I'm proud of you, and then the impact that had, you could just see it on Cox's face as he like absorbs that information, that he's proud because after all this time, he still cares to this degree to where something can literally tear him all the way down. Yeah. I thought it was so powerful, because I think in some cases, some doctors and some people in these positions, they get desensitized. Like they see so much, they go so much that they're just going through the motions. And I think that's what they were trying to say with what Turk thought the doctor was going to be, like they're less emotional. So I thought that was just a powerful statement, and he executed it on so well. And to your point, the fact that Cox then at the end thanked JD in the way that he did was just such a perfect way to wrap up a very, very hard-hitting end to the last episode. And like it took my breath away. I mean, it did. That's why I like started tearing up. But it took my breath away for the complete opposite reason the ending of the last episode did, which I think speaks gravity of how well this episode was written. You get gut punched last episode and for the worst possible reason, and then essentially gut punch, but in a different way as far as losing your breath, because it just hits like in your soul. Yeah. So really great episode. Can't wait to see where it goes from here.
All right. Well, look, thank you guys again for watching another Real Talk reaction for Scrub Season 5, Episode 21. And until next time, peace.